My boyfriend is a big hero fanatic and does everything in his power to be like one. It's really endearing, and it's one of the many things I love about him, because he wants to be the good he wishes to see in the world. But this mindset he has is why we are fighting right now. We've been quarantining at my apartment, he's not on the lease, and he suggested we go on a night walk since we've been getting stir-crazy from being inside all day. He figured that it'd be better for social distancing to go out at night. I was hesitant because we live in a bad neighborhood, but he assured me he'd protect me. On our walk, we were cornered by a man with a knife that demanded our wallets. I remembered John Mulaney's Street Smarts bit from the Netflix show and was going to throw my wallet past the mugger so we could run away. But my boyfriend started arguing with him and was spouting off a bunch of stuff about justice and how the mugger wouldn't get away with this. It looked like he was getting ready to fight. I was taken aback by this, and I guess the mugger was too, because it gave me enough time to take the important stuff out of my wallet while he was distracted. I interrupted my boyfriend's monologue and said, "Take it, just don't hurt us," and threw it behind the guy. When he turned, I grabbed my boyfriend's hand and we booked it back to the apartment. We got home safely, and I was relieved that we were okay, but my boyfriend was fuming. He was pissed that I interrupted him from protecting me when he could have, in his words, clearly handled it himself. I told him he could have gotten himself killed. He said that he was obviously stronger than the mugger and would have won. I explained to him that the guy had a weapon and my boyfriend didn't, so the odds were stacked against him. Not only that, but I didn't want my boyfriend to get killed over a damn wallet. We argued for longer than necessary, so I shut it down and told him we could talk about it when our adrenaline wasn't so high, but I needed to file a police report while the event was fresh. He stomped off to our room while I called the cops. When I was off the phone, I went to lay with him, but he rolled away from me. The next day, he was still angry and had already told his friends and family about what had happened to us. I thought that they would be understanding about how I handled it, but they were mad at me for not letting him have his opportunity to be a hero. His mom even ridiculed me for emasculating him. I want to reopen the conversation so we can understand each other and move past it, but if he isn't receptive, I'm going to ask him to move back in with his mom. I want to understand where I went wrong if I went wrong, but honestly, I feel like he's being childish and unreasonable. I just want to know, Aita, or is he? Update, I just want to thank everyone who has commented. It relieves me to know I'm not insane. He's still at his mom's house and I haven't heard from him, nor have I tried to reach out. All of his friends have ghosted me too, except for one of them, who is trying to mediate. If I don't hear from him tonight, I'll reach out tomorrow. I plan on updating in the comments depending on where this goes. Again, thank you to everyone for sharing your thoughts on this. Update 2. So, he called me last night and I answered. He asked if I was okay and how I was doing. Then he asked if he could come over and I said he could. I planned on bringing everything up again myself, because he had been very passive-aggressive and refusing to talk about it. But when he showed up, he immediately started apologizing. Everything you guys pointed out, he started agreeing with. He was saying that he was being delusional, unrealistic. The whole hero fantasy isn't healthy. He jeopardized my safety, and that wasn't okay, etc. I wasn't prepared for this behavior, especially compared to how he'd been acting all week. We talked for hours before we went to bed together, and everything seemed like it worked out fine. I was really on the verge of ending things, so it was a relief I didn't have to in that moment. Then this morning came and shit hit the fan. In my comment update on the last post, I mentioned that a friend was trying to mediate. I texted that friend that things worked out, and they said something along the lines of, "I'm so glad you were able to apologize." Some people mentioned that maybe he told a different story, which isn't something I looked into. But I decided to ask, and hoo boy, I'm glad I did. Firstly, he told everyone that the night walk was my idea. Then, apparently, we were never mugged. Nope. Apparently, I just started talking shit to a stranger on the street in an attempt to make him show he was a strong man and protect me. And the only reason we were able to get away was because he de-escalated the situation, and that it was emasculating because he was put in a position where he felt like he was forced to fight for my honor. Are you fucking kidding me? To make a long story short, he tried to play dumb and backpedal this morning when I confronted him about it, and then when I pressed him to be honest, he snapped again and said, "What was I supposed to say? The whole situation was embarrassing, and it was going to make me look bad." We argued again for a bit, but I was just done. I told him to go and that it wasn't going to work. He didn't have much stuff, so it was easy to put in a spare grocery bag and just toss at him while he angrily left. He's currently outside of my complex waiting for mommy to pick him up. As far as I'm concerned, I dodged a bullet. Fuck his friends, fuck his mom, and fuck him. Thank you for opening my eyes, Reddit. Story 2. My fiancé almost died in a car accident. My meal told me he cheated on me. My fiancé almost died in a car accident. That's when my mother-in-law told me he cheated on me with an ex. Now he's recovering. Well, I feel so guilty for wanting to end it. I feel like a horrible person. We are supposed to get married on August 20th in a small ceremony. I've, F33, been with my fiancé, M34, for 6 years, engaged for 1, the best years of my life. He's brilliant in every way, or so I thought. The accident happened 6 weeks ago. A drunk driver hit my fiancé's car. I spent the worst night in my life in the hospital waiting for answers from the doctors, and he went through hours and hours of surgery. His parents and brothers were also there waiting. I've always loved his family and they me. His mum was one of my favorite people, and we got along very well. She was happy to have me as her first daughter-in-law. She's religious, and when my fiancé was hovering between life and death, she was worried about his sins. So she told me that he cheated on me about 2 months ago with an ex he bumped into. She explained that it was because of the wedding and the stress of planning it. Apparently, I've been both stressed out and stressing him out. He had a weak moment, it was a one-time thing, and he regretted it so much. He asked his parents for advice on what to do, and they told him not to say anything. As long as he's remorseful, and as long as it was me he wanted, he should forget about what he did and move on. His whole family knew. After the hospital, he moved back to his parents' house, because we live in a flat, without lifts. I visit him every day. I haven't told him that I know, and his family is acting like nothing has changed. They're very happy he's doing better, and understandably so, and my presence by his side is very helpful according to him and his family. Now both fiancé and his parents are talking about us being able to get married on the day we set after all. I feel awful because I don't want that. Our relationship was over the moment I found out about the cheating. I stayed because I loved, still do, him, and I wanted him to feel better. I couldn't break his heart while he's recovering. I also thought the wedding was postponed and that we, would have more time for him to recover fully and be strong and independent again, so I could leave with clear conscience. I tried to speak to his mum today, but she just started hyperventilating and kept telling me not to do this. She made a mistake by telling me, and that I shouldn't take advantage of what she said in desperation to punish him and kill his spirit. He's still recovering, and he needs me. I have been thinking since my talk with his mum about everything, and I'm so angry at him. I'm ashamed that even when I was worried about his life, I was very angry and resentful. We were supposed to have our wedding in this beautiful manor house that he found that's all-inclusive, with our most important people. My best friend is a DJ, and my parents paid for the whole thing even though they're much poorer, so I don't know where the stress has come from. We fixed everything in a week. I'm so angry and I've kept bottling it up since the accident. I'm afraid I'm going to explode soon. I told my fiancé that I know about his infidelity and canceled the wedding. He still wants a second chance. I have written here 3 days ago before I talked to my fiancé. This is after I told him I know about his cheating. I started by telling my parents, who are paying for the wedding, about what happened and that I'm canceling the wedding. Hopefully they can get back some of what they paid via their home insurance. I have told them that I'm going to pay the rest of the damages. My dad refused. I insisted. It's not up to them. Since my fiancé still lives with his parents, I felt that I would be outnumbered if I went alone to end it. Text or a call wasn't an option, since he meant a lot more to me than that, and I really wanted to see his face and ask WTF. I also wanted him to see my hurt. I don't want it to be comfortable for him. Cheaters must see the hurt they cause, and hopefully learn from it. I took my mum with me. When I told him that the wedding was off and the reason why he started crying, he told me all things they say in desperation. He was foolish. He didn't think. He was stressed out. He was scared. It meant nothing. He regretted it. He didn't want to tell me because it meant nothing, and he didn't want to hurt me. I should give him a chance to prove himself and his loyalty. He can ask his parents to pay for the wedding. We can postpone the wedding indefinitely. I can take the apartment, and he will live with his parents. As long as it takes for me to forgive him. I haven't cried so much as I did when I was listening to his bullshit and afterwards on my way home. How could he do this to me? He didn't give me a satisfying answer to why he did this to me. To us. I have cried myself to sleep every night since the accident, and yet I cried like I've just found out. I'm going to stay in the apartment that we bought together, and he will stay with his parents. Prices has gone down these last couple of months, and we both agreed that we don't want to sell for less than what we paid. But the moment it goes up again, we're selling. I have started packing his things now, and tomorrow I'm renting a van to move his things to his parents' house. Sorting out his stuff and packing his clothes made it real for me. I didn't expect it to be so emotional. Why do I still love him so much? He has been texting me, and he has called me twice, and we talked mostly about mundane stuff, but also about us and our relationship. His mum has called me to say that she felt guilty for first not advising him to come clean, but even for later divulging his secret to me without his permission. She was disappointed that I took advantage of her moment of panic, but that she understands that I'm hurt. She said he will do his best to win me back. I'm a bit irritated about the fact that none of them, including my parents, believe that it's really over, and I don't have the energy to prove my point either. I just need some alone time now, and some peace and quiet.